Okay, Craig, it's Melissa.
Yeah.
Diane Green, I don't think we have time for more than this one. Maybe you could spend a minute or so on this. Diane Green raised a really good question regarding financial planning and paying yourself first. It's very hard to come up with a dollar figure to pay yourself. Could you speak just very briefly to how you think about it to determine a rate for your time investment, an hourly or monthly or annually or whatever?
Yeah, that's a good question, and it really goes to looking at, and like I say, that there's that worksheet in building a sustainable business that looks at how much money you really need to make to live essentially, and then you get back to once you have that information, you go back and say, okay, can I make that much money from the enterprise that I'm looking at? And it's hard to come. I can't tell you a number of, okay, I'm going to make $25. I want to make it $25 an hour doing this, or doing the vegetation management work. I might, think about that as, what do I really want to make, and what do I need to make it really feasible? For example, that $30,000 that we need to come back into for Healing Host needs to make in order to really come back and provide us for our living expenses, cover part of our living expenses. We did that by okay, what do we need as trying to evaluate what we need, and then go back to the enterprises that we have as far as Healing Host, and see if that's possible. And if not, then we try to figure out maybe you need add another enterprise, or maybe we need off-farm income. Or, it's really a balance between testing your different actions and seeing which ones, evaluating your enterprises and see which ones are more profitable, and maybe other ones that you can get the best use of the resources that you're currently using. I mean, that's not a very good answer, but it's one of those questions that's hard to answer because each person is differently what they need to make and how they value their time.
Well, good, thank you. It's still helpful to hear how anyone comes up with it, though. Okay, thank you. Colette?
I am here. Okay. I am working on making the slides come. Okay, so I wanted to go ahead and take a look at what's coming up this week and next week. So tonight, after the webinar, once it closes, you'll be sent right to a link where you can do a post-webinar survey. It's really helpful to us if you can take the time to do that survey and give us a little bit feedback on this week's webinar, because we're using that feedback to direct our next week's webinar. So if you could do that, we really appreciate it. Tomorrow, the recorded webinar is going to be posted on the course Moodle website. It's going to be a Windows Media file, and you can open and view that file directly from the website. In the discussion forum, please look at the topic threads and participate in those discussion forums. As Melissa said, questions that were not answered from tonight's webinars that were typed into the question box are going to be put in the discussion forum, and we're going to ask our speakers from tonight to respond to those questions. So if you had an unanswered question, please go to the discussion forum to look for the answer. Tomorrow we will be posting the week 3 readings and other assignments, and we're doing this earlier in the week based on some feedback from participants that they would like their readings and assignments before Friday. On Friday, you will receive an email that will ask you to register for the week 3 webinar. If you can go ahead and do that as soon as you get the email, that will be great, because if you do register in advance of the webinar will automatically send you reminders that it's coming up. And that way you also know that you can get into the webinar prior to the day of the webinar. If you do have any problems, just let Melissa and I know, and we'll help you work through that pre-registration process. Next week is going to focus on enterprise assessment, and our speakers will be Diane Green and Craig Madsen. There we go. Thank you. And again, please take a moment to complete the webinar survey right after this webinar. If you have questions, you can email Melissa or myself. And we hope you have a great evening, and we'll talk to you on the discussion forum. Good night.